Hello, welcome to this video. My name is John Watson, consumer protection lawyer, and I want to talk to you about what do you do when you somehow come into contact with Midland funding, Midland credit management. This could be you get a phone call, you get a letter, it's on your credit report, you get sued. Let's just talk in general about this. There'll be some overlap between those categories, but I just want to give you kind of a way to think about this. So Midland Credit, Midland Funding Management, they do all the above. They write letters, they have phone calls made, they appear on your credit report, they sue you. So what do you do when you kind of enter their world? Well, first you want to get your bearings, okay? We talk about this, kind of the GPS, what's your current location? Figure out what in the world is going on. So what is this debt that they are contacting you about? Can you trace this to, oh yeah, this is that old Synchrony, Best Buy account or whatever it is? Or are you confused about what it is? And then even if you can trace it, the question always becomes, does Midland Credit, Midland Funding have the right to collect this against you? Do they own this debt? Okay, they say they do. I am the president of the United States of America. There, I said it. It must be true, right? Or maybe I'm not telling the truth there. Same thing with Midland. They may tell you something that does not make it the truth. So let's think about it. We get a phone call from Midland. And they say, hey, this is, Bob with Midland. Is this John Watt? Yeah, it is. Well, I need to confirm, some information. I wouldn't give them my social, but I give them my address, maybe tell them to say my date of birth and I'll tell them if that's correct. And they go, hey, we're calling about this old debt. How would you like to pay it? Well, what old debt? Okay, so remember, we're asking questions like who, what, when, why, where, how, those types of questions. What old debt are you talking about? Well, it's that old Synchrony bank credit card. Okay, which old Synchrony bank credit card? Let's be specific here. They go, well, I think it was a Best Buy, or I think it was, well, which one was it? Okay. And then, so they do that and they say, so you owe $1,757, but we have a great deal for you today, $1,000 even, and it'll settle it. How would you like to pay that? Well, before we whip out our wallet, our credit card, or our, check, why don't we get a little bit more information? So when did you guys get this account? Who did you get it from? Okay. Do you own it? And so particularly if it's Midland Credit, sometimes Midland Credit, so think about it this way. We have Midland Funding and Midland Credit. Midland Funding will say they own the debt. Midland Credit will collect on behalf of Midland Funding. Midland Funding, like LVNV Funding, a lot of these places, they have no employees there. So Midland Credit's their sort of collection arm. But now Midland Credit sometimes says that they own the debt. So you need to know. Okay, if Midland Credit's calling you, did they claim to own the debt? Who do they claim owns the debt? If somebody says, hey, this is so-and-so from Midland Funding. Like, do you work for Midland Funding? Okay, because actually Midland Funding, to my knowledge, has no employees. Okay, so sometimes they're a little squirrely about who they work for. You just want to ask questions about this. I mean, same thing as somebody knocks on your door and says, hey, go get your checkbook. You can pay me money. Be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Who are you? What is this about? What debt? Where'd you come from? Who are you? Okay. And so when they're on the phone, I would end the phone call. I'd make sure I do two things. Number one, hey, I dispute owing this debt or any other debt that you claim I owe. Now, sometimes I'll go, well, you must tell me why you dispute it. I don't know who you are. Okay. I don't know what this debt is. I dispute this debt and any other debt that you claim to have on me. Okay. And remember, the significance of that is if they then update your credit report, which they have to do every month, they must mark it as disputed on every account they have on you, or else they violate the FDCPA, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. And that's section 1692E8. Okay. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, I'd say, send me proof in writing. Send me some validation. Send me, where you got it from, the purchase agreement. I want to see that you guys really own this debt if that's what you're claiming. Okay, so that's the phone call. What if you get a letter in the mail from Midland? Sometimes they'll say a pre-legal notice. Okay, they do that because it sounds very scary. Like, it's almost sent to the legal department. Well, look at that letter, study it, and then see, okay, does this answer all your questions? I suspect not, because it's not going to have the purchase agreement. They're not going to have a whole lot of details about the debt. So then, you could call them, but I'd suggest writing to Midland and do a dispute letter. Say, I dispute this debt and any other debt that you claim to have on me. Now send me proof. Send me copies of all the credit card statements. Typically it's credit card. From zero balance all the way to when it gets to the last dollar that you claim that I owe. Show me the pattern here. So it's zero, and then here's a statement showing the $100 worth of charges. Here's a payment. Here's another statement. Show it from zero to the $1,700 and whatever I said, $57 that you claim I owe. Okay. And then again, they may send you stuff, but also do they update their credit report and show it as disputed? If they don't, if they update it but do not show it as disputed, again, that's normally going to violate section 1692E8. Okay. Well, what if they're on your credit report? So you pull your credit report, which I recommend doing, annualcreditreport.com. Through April of 21, we can pull it once a week from each bureau. It's fantastic. Those are your real reports. So you pull it and you see Midland's on there. Well, do you dispute it through the credit bureaus? You could. Okay. I'd suggest, though, that it's usually better to send a direct dispute, since we're dealing with the debt collector, a direct dispute requesting validation or requesting that they not contact you. And of course, you can do that on any of these. Okay. So 2 basic types of dispute letters, and I'm sorry it's taking me longer than I wanted, but I'm having a very comprehensive dispute letter training video that will then have a place for you to put in your email, and we'll send you the forms and send you some follow-up training on it. But let me just say this for now. You can send a validation dispute letter saying, hey, I dispute it, send me proof. Or you can send a dispute letter that's also a refusal to pay. So again, when they update your report, they better mark it as disputed. But you say, hey, I don't recognize you. I don't know who you guys are. I refuse to pay you. That's the same thing as cease communications. So if they continue to contact you after that, they go, oh, well, let's tell you who we are. Here's some statements and here's an offer for you. They just violated the FDCPA. So if they call you on the phone, talk to them, and you could say, send me validation. Then after you got that, you could send them a refuse to pay letter. If they write you a letter, again, you can send a validation letter, refuse to pay. If they're on your credit report, you could dispute through the credit bureaus. My recommendation, this is what we do for our clients, is we have them dispute with either a validation letter or a refuse to pay. Now, what if they sue you? Well, if they sue you, then they're trying to get a judgment against you. Okay, so you've got to understand what's your time limit to respond. If you're in Alabama, they sue you in small claims court or district court of Alabama. You have 14 days from when you're served. If you're sued in circuit court in Alabama, it's 30 days from when you're served. Well, I have a more comprehensive video, but let me just quickly go over your 5 options. You can file bankruptcy. Usually not a good idea. It's really extreme. Maybe 1 out of 100, 200 people that contact us, we say, wait a minute, you need to look at bankruptcy. But that is an option. You can fight it on your own. You don't pay a lawyer any money. You also don't have a lawyer with you. Okay? We have resources for folks in Alabama. We're glad to share these with you to give you the best possible chance of winning if that's what you do. So bankruptcy, fight it on your own, settle it on your own. So if you settle it on your own, you need to understand, is it going to come off your credit report? What about tax consequences? Usually, once they've sued you to settle on your own, they're wanting about 75 cents on the dollar lump sum. Or they'll take a payment plan, but they usually want what's called a consent judgment against you. Okay? You just have to understand how that works. Now, the final 2 options, so we've got bankruptcy, fight it on your own, settle it on your own. You can hire a lawyer to fight it, hire a lawyer to settle it. That's where you get, for example, my firm, we respond to a lawsuit and we say to Midland, hey, here's our offer. We won't sue you, and you drop the case with prejudice, and this is disputed debt. Sometimes they say they'll get off credit report, sometimes they don't. I really don't care, because once we get that dismissal with prejudice from the judge, we're going to dispute that through the credit bureaus. And if they don't want to do that, then we go to trial with them. I mean, those are our two options. Very simple. Either settle, we pay no money, or we go to trial. And so again, if you're dealing with Midland, just understand, kind of get your bearings first. Did they call me? Did they write me? Are they on my credit report? Have they sued me? Now, I'll say this. If they called you, they're almost certainly on your credit report. If they wrote you, they're almost certainly on your credit report. And if they sued you, they're almost certainly on your credit report. Okay. So then decide, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to call them? Do I want to write them? Do I want to dispute it through the credit bureaus? What do I want to do? If I've been sued, have I been served? If I've been served, do I want to file bankruptcy, fight it on my own, settle it on my own, hire a lawyer to fight it, or hire a lawyer to settle it? So I know I kind of crammed a whole bunch of information in this video. Just want to give you kind of the overview. When your world and Midland's world collide, okay, what do you do at that point? Figure out where you are. Decide, do you think you really owe these people? Do they really own the debt? And then decide, what do you want to do? Call them, write them, dispute it, respond to a lawsuit. What do you want to do? So if you're in Alabama and you want help just thinking through this process, reach out to me, 205-879-2447, or you can go to alabamaconsumer.com and you can contact us there. Okay, thanks for watching this video, guys. I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye-bye.